High-end sports card prices continue to slump downward. Are the high-end sports card investors / collectors moving out of the market? Are they bailing on us?
So I ran to the end of the road. And when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the end of town.
Stick around. Let's talk through this. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. Another day, another card video. Hope everybody is having a great day so far. If you've never been here before, this is just about daily sports card and collectibles content. We mix in a lot of the finance stuff. We talk about prices going up and down. We talk about newsy type stuff. All the stuff related to sports cards. So definitely hit the big red button down below, the subscribe button, and the like button if you like what you hear to help us spider these videos out to the masses. Also connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad, and I'm also on the Twitter, the SportsCardDad. Thank you to channel partner Kamseys.com, your home for buying, selling, and flipping all the hottest trading cards. Kamseys heading back to the National this year in Atlantic City. They will be on site accepting submissions and giving away thousands of dollars in store credit. Take 40% off Elite and 30% off select submissions this year for items submitted on site at the National between Wednesday, July 27th and Sunday, July 31st. Just write Elite 40 or Select 30 on your submission slips. And don't forget to visit them out there at booth 1240. All right, so we've talked about this. Of course, prices, especially on the higher end, have been moving downward. But I wanted to give an update because you don't always kind of see this stuff reported on. One account that I follow on Twitter is M&T Trading. I don't know this person, him or her, never met him or her before. Look at the post. You can see that has to have some sort of a trading background, has to have some sort of background in this stuff because there's a lot of smart tweets coming out of that account. And what he is doing and watching are a lot of high-end sales from alt to eBay, from PWCC, Golden across the board. Helps me to keep track on some of the really big cards, some of those higher-end cards, the 50,000 plus cards. A lot of these cards have dropped significantly. So a lot of times these updates, they'll put out there and like, oh wow, okay, this card is down to 10,000 and it was 50,000. That's interesting news. I will throw up a few examples of some of these tweets and go ahead and follow M&T Trading if you haven't already. But the one that caught my eye, of course, the other day was a 2012 Prism Gold Drew Brees refractor, if you will. It's numbered out of 10, I believe. It's the first year of Prism football. I've been trying to find a Brees silver Prism, and then I saw this gold Prism. I was like, man, that's a sweet card. Now, it's still a little bit out of the price range. It was $9,000, and just within months has come down to $6,500 as of a recent sale. Keep in mind that, of course, with all collectibles, a lot of times very few sales, so data points can be all over the place, which again makes this fun, but it also makes it really tricky when evaluating cards. When you're trying to put an evaluation on a card, man, is it really tough when you've got these types of cards where there's a lot of scarcity to it. It's numbered out of 10. It's PSA 10. It's just tricky. Next, 2005 Ultimate Logo Man Carmelo Anthony, rookie in a BGS 8.5, $32,000 in May, $20,000 sale a couple of days ago. I would think that's probably a niche collecting group that's collecting Carmelo Anthony. The 86 Fleer Jordan. This was actually kind of an interesting one. The PSA 10, it finally went sub 200,000 here at $192,000 recently. And then M&T, I don't know if this was sarcasm or not, but he said that someone had reached out to him, DM'd him that he was able to get one of these for half the price. Him or her was able to get an MJ rookie PSA 10 for half the price. Maybe that's BS, maybe it's true, but it also kind of speaks to a larger point that I'm going to get into a little bit later in this video, so hold that thought. Next up, 2003 Exquisite Nameplates Michael Jordan patch auto, numbered out of 25. All the goodness. It's the GOAT. It's the patch. It's the signature in a BGS 9. Went for $114,000 recently. Went for $210,000 in October. And some might say like, oh, well, that was during kind of when cards were hot. Not really. I mean, October of 2021, things had already really cooled off for quite a bit. I mean, the height was March 2021, and we've been coming off that since. So now what we didn't see was a lot of the high-end sales were still going up. So the middle and the lower end was dropping as of April of last year, 2021. But the high end has started to catch up now. And this is an example of a card that basically has been cut in half in 9 months? And so I really think that what we're seeing now is we're really going to find out the people that bought in on these high-end cards. Are they in it because they are into cards, they think it's a great investment, long-term, short-term, or were they just getting in because it was the cool thing to do? Their buddies are all doing it, spending big money on cards. There is kind of a nostalgia factor there. Who is going to stick? That's really the big question mark. Who is going to stick? Because there has been so much money poured into cards. Cards have gone up dramatically. I saw on Sports Card Radio, just to give you kind of an example, Sports Card Radio did a video where there's a recent Steph Curry patch auto, and I think the patch was actually fake. The fake patch on that auto card, it still went for $168,000, a truckload of money. The same card in 2017 went for $775 or something like that, $800, $700 or $800. That's over 100x in 5 years. And so when people kind of wonder, like, how far can it go down? Well, I don't think that Curry card's ever going to be $700 again, but is it going to go lower than $168,000? I think so. It's up 100x from where it was 5 years ago. And look, maybe I'm completely wrong. Curry's on fire. He just won 4 rings, greatest shooter of all time. Maybe there's enough people out there to value it at, that 168,000 plus forever from here on out, and it holds. But I think that that's just such a critical thing that a lot of people don't realize if you're just getting in, is that these cards were not even in the same stratosphere price-wise, a lot of them, if we're going back 3, 4, 5 years. That 86 Jordan PSA 10 was a $25,000, $30,000 card going back 3.5 years, and now it's just now coming off of 200,000. It's an immense difference for a card where there's 320 of them. So it's not like there's a ton of them, but it's not a one of one. It's not, numbered out of 10. And then going back to the guy that said, hey, I was able to get one of these at half the price. One thing that I really, really wonder, and I think that a lot of people wondered, I don't think that I'm alone here, and this isn't some sort of conspiracy theory. This is just, it's a basic economic thing. It's got to happen. How many cash deals, private sales happen that are not included in any of the public-facing auction site stuff? It's not included in the data tools. It's not included, when we're looking at kind of, what's being reported on from a Golden or PWCC or any of the major auction sites, any auction site period, because there's got to be these deals that are not done through auction. And look, these are perfectly valid deals. It's like, hey, you have buddies that collect cards. Oh, you've got this high-end card. I know you have this card. Why would you work through an auction house if you can just work out a deal, not have the giant fees attached to it? It makes perfect sense. But the point is that these cards are off the grid as far as those comps. No one knows what those comps are. And so I actually think that there is a fair amount of this going on. I mean, look, even just when you look at card vlogs and stuff, you see people plopping down $10,000, $20,000. You see big transactions happening, and that's what you're seeing on camera, let alone what you are not seeing on camera. There's a bunch of huge deals going down. They might not necessarily want to broadcast that they've got a 52 Topps mantle. There are people that, yes, they do want to broadcast that. And then there's other people that probably have huge money, and they're like, I don't know if I necessarily want people to know I bought a $10 million card. I just kind of want to keep it to me. I want it to be kind of a private thing. And that's perfectly okay. And then, of course, you also have instances where I was looking at that black refractor Drew Brees numbered out of 100, the BGS 9.5, where the last sale on that had gone for about $4,500 a couple years ago, and it went for $6,500 today, which again shows you how fickle collectibles are, and there's just no way of really knowing what's up and what's down. And so I think that's the trickiest part when you think about, if you're buying in. And look, I hate when people kind of pretend like it's all about the nostalgia and the collection, but they pretend like it's also not about the value of the cards. I don't know too many people that are plopping down $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 on a card or a series of cards without an expectation of there being some sort of rise in value over time. And so, of course, the tricky thing right now is entry point. Is now a good entry point? Cards in general, but especially on the higher end, because you just have more to lose. You spend $50,000 on a card, you've got $50,000 to lose. You spend $10 on a card, you have $10 to lose. Okay, so there we are. One of my viewers reached out to me, and great guy, Michael, hello. Hope he's looking at an awesome card, and the deal offered to him is something like $11,000. This card was selling in the $50,000 to $60,000 range at the height. So there's a lot of these types of decisions being made. Of course, you can always ask yourself, can it go down further? Sure, but there's got to be a certain point where you're just like, you know what? I feel good about it, and I think so. There are going to be buying opportunities, lots of buying opportunities, but I think it is really, really tricky, especially when you're looking at big money. When you're looking at 6-figure cards, I can't imagine, the guys that are putting down 6 and 7 figures. It's tremendous, especially when we're looking at, in that Curry example, that's 100x what it was. And we're not in the peak. We're not in the peak. We've come off of these prices and it's still 100x. So there's cards out there that are 50x, 20x, 10x from what they were 5 years ago. That makes me a little bit nervous. Now, it could be found opportunity. What do they call that? Discovery price or something? Very well could be discovery price. And that stuff was just always way undervalued. And now it's really valuable. Maybe that's true, but I'm just very curious to watch this. This high-end market is going to be extremely interesting to watch. And especially when you have so many different selling platforms that are out there competing for this business, I think that overall it's going to be good for the buyer/collector/investor. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I hope you're having an amazing day. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.